There's a scene in the Starfield showcase where we see an 80s themed Optimus Prime styled spaceship. But what if you wanted to create something even more outlandish? Well, Starfield's producer Jamie Mallory has confirmed that she has created a sandwich-inspired starship, and here's a few concepts of what that may look like. Now, of course, this whole idea is extremely crazy, a little bit out there, especially for people who want a serious-based space game. Yet, one thing we should all take away from this is what it indicates, what it says about the sheer power of Starfield's Shipbuilder. It seems to suggest that, for the most part, players are going to be able to create almost any ship design they can think of. Whilst, of course, this is going to be limited in appearance to the modules that are available within-game, over time this is likely to change as modders get their hands on the game and introduce a whole variety of different ship parts and ship components. In short, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that players will be able to create any ship they can envision, and this means the ship of their dreams are also any ship from fiction. Here's a few concepts, a few random ideas that I'd like to see myself. Of course, this would be limited in scope by the parts that are available in the game, but these serve as a rough idea. Now, much of today's new information that I'm going to talk about comes from an interview published by Bethesda with Jamie Mallory, and one particularly interesting question about ship builds was this. The question was, do you have a favourite project that you've worked on? And the answer to this, I'm going to read it out. One that stands out is Starfield. The level of the team collaboration on that project was off the charts, especially when it came to Shipbuilder. We had an amazing team with some developers who worked on the incredible snap maps in Doom 2016. We've got this massive list of exciting features we're looking forward to discussing and potentially implementing in the future. But shh, I can't spill all the details here. Just thinking about the possibilities gets my dopamine pumping. Now that's, well, it's very excitable phrasing, but it does seem to be Jamie's style and it's pretty neat to read. But what it does suggest is that Bethesda are talking about content that may be added into the game after its initial release. I'm specifically talking about this line. We've got this massive list of exciting features we're looking forward to discussing and potentially implementing in the future. And that seems to be in regards to Shipbuilder. So whatever we get initially, it seems it's not going to end there, as it is going to expand in the future. And don't forget that Bethesda have confirmed there will be a DLC, at least one piece of DLC for Starfield, and that's going to be included with the deluxe version of the game. Now, talking of versions of the game, yesterday Microsoft confirmed that Starfield is going to be an Xbox Play Anywhere title. And what that means, if you purchase Starfield from an Xbox store or from the Microsoft store, you're going to get both the PC version and Xbox version of the game included. To further clarify that, what that means is whichever version of the game you buy, whichever platform you get it for, if you buy it for PC, you'll automatically get the Xbox included for free. If you buy it on Xbox, you'll automatically get the PC version included for free. Further, Xbox Play Anywhere also means that games have a cross-save. That means you'll be able to play on PC and then instantly pick up on Xbox and carry on from where you left off with the same save. Vice versa is also true. Unfortunately, this offer doesn't extend to other stores, so if you're purchasing Starfield over on Steam, you won't get the Xbox version included. This applies only to purchasing directly from a Microsoft-owned store. For many people, this may not matter, they may not care too much. For a bunch of other people though, I can see them now cancelling their pre-order over on Steam and instead picking it up over on Xbox or Microsoft. And also, don't forget that the game is going to be available on the Xbox Game Pass. Now, getting back to that interview, there was another nice new tidbit of information about a particular subject we haven't heard before, and this is the subject of mission boards. So, very little on mission boards was actually confirmed beyond the fact that they do exist. Here is one quote. The mission boards also kept us on our toes, ensuring players had exciting challenges to tackle while exploring the cosmos. So the idea of mission boards would be new to a Bethesda single-player title. This wasn't available in the Elder Scrolls series, and I don't believe it was available in the Fallout series either. Now for me, this was a bit of an unexpected announcement, but it is a good one, I do believe that. After all, mission boards are something that are generally traditionally found in space games. We see them in Elite, pretty much all the versions of Elite all the way back, as well as really classic games such as Freelancer. But you can also find them in modern titles as well. They're not, of course, unique to space games. For example, in the Monster Hunter series, you have a whole bunch of boards there, which you can get the quests from. Red Dead Redemption 2 has the Bounty board, Assassin's Creed Odyssey has side quests and bounties, and let's not forget the contracts that can be collected from notice boards over in Witcher 3. All of these really do add a whole load of life as well as nice content to those respective games. How it's going to work in Starfield is certainly an open question, but what I'd like to see is missions which are dynamic and context sensitive to their respective environments. So it depends on which region and which faction-owned territory you are in, and this will determine some of the different missions you get. It's also an interesting thought to consider whether or not the mission boards in Starfield will have procedurally generated missions. Let's assume for a moment that all the bulk of the main quests and side quests come from the in-game characters and other events, and that procedural missions come from mission boards. This would really add to the lifespan of the game, giving players additional things to do, even if those are fairly simplistic. Whichever way this goes, it sounds as though it could be a really nice addition. And also, of course, it does open up potential again for modders, a place where they can very easily inject missions and other activities directly into the game. Now, moving on, talking about modders and other third-party developers and programmers, people who just love to mess around with games, we've got a fantastic Starfield map. The map is called Starfield Navigator, and it's available on the website linked in the video description, and essentially it seems to map out all the stars and their location that are available in Starfield. Now, the developers of the website say that this isn't going to be 100% accurate because pretty much it's impossible to do that without direct access to the game. What they've done is used footage that's been available in both showcases, the ones from 2022 and 2023, and then extrapolated that to determine what type of star systems, what number of star systems may be available within Starfield. They've also done this with the assistance of real-world star catalogues. So as you can see on screen, this really does give an indication of just how big the world of Starfield is going to be. Of course, it's nothing compared to the scale of something like Elite Dangerous or No Man's Sky. However, it's clear it is very, very big, and sometimes being smaller and far more focused is much better than being very, very broad, massive, and entirely unfocused. Now, we know from the Starfield showcases that the game is set in the Milky Way. Specifically, it's centered around the solar system. So yes, Earth and all the planets within our star system are available within the game. In fact, there's even footage of people walking around on Mercury, the Moon, and other such locations within our star system. And if we zoom out to other locations, other star systems within the game, we can see that it's made up from a blend of real-world location as well as fictional locations. In my opinion then, seeing it all laid out like this, 100 different star systems, it does look suitably impressive. Aside from trying out the various different activities that Starfield is going to offer in addition to its various quests, the main one included, the thing I'm perhaps looking forward to the most is exploring. That is, exploration of space and the stars, but also exploring the various worlds and moons that the game has to offer. We know that many of these are going to be barren, as many as 90% may be completely empty and lifeless, containing just resources, but it's also possible that they will nonetheless contain some interesting scenery. Exploring the other planets though that are full of life, both flora and fauna, this should be extremely interesting. Around about 10% of the worlds are going to have life. That means roughly 100 different planets. At any rate, do check out that link in the video description where you can see this star map for yourself. That brings us to the end of this video. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.